What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the Weapon Collective. Once again, down in the Gat Cave, making a new video. Today, we're going to be looking at optic mounts and optics and the combination of the two. So before we get into that, though, I did want to take just a quick second and thank everybody who's been tuning into the channel, watching the content I've been uploading, and I'm just going to say I've been having an absolute blast creating the content, connecting with other people in the 2A community in the comment section. This is what I'm enthusiastic about. This is my passion. I love doing it. So this has been an absolute riot, and I'm going to keep cranking them out. I hope you keep tuning in, and I very much appreciate the support. Now, that's out of the way. Let's look at some optic mounts and some optics and combinations of the two and the guns that they're on. These optics that I'm going to go through today aren't the ones that you see the most often. They're not the most common optic mounts. Optics, same old common optics. But the mounts are hopefully new to somebody out there. Maybe a component or two will be something that you're used to seeing, but hopefully some of these are a little different than what you're used to seeing. So the first optic mount we're going to take a peek at is new, and it is super badass. I love it. I don't have a ton of time behind it, but just the idea behind it is brilliant, if you ask me. What I'm talking about is this spur. It's an Aimo T2 and magnifier mount, all in one. You can see that the magnifier does pivot, and this is all one mount. If you're running, say, a Unity flip to center mount, you have that mounted back here separately. This is, I believe, the most compact, lightest magnifier and optic mount on the market. It is definitely cool. And if that weren't enough, all you do, hit this little button right here, pop that in, and it comes right out. And then you're left with just a T2 mount, and it is a 2.25 inch optic height mount. And you can run that, say you're running night vision, you can pop that off, no big deal. And you say, yeah, well, you can do that with the flip to center Unity mount as well, which is true. But what I think is really nice about this is just how streamlined this is. Because compared to the Unity flip to center mount, this is the Omni, it is definitely bulkier, and these QD levers, if you're in the field, had to pop your magnifier off for some reason and stow it, I'm going to say this thing's going into a pocket easier than this. It's little things like that that take seconds, take time, and if you need those, it counts. More often than not, it doesn't matter. You're on the back of a truck and you're sitting on your tailgate popping this off, no big deal. But the theoretical idea behind it is what I'm trying to allude to. That's folded out. I mean, just how much more compact and streamlined this is, particularly if it's in the dark and you're just trying to stow this in a pocket real quick. I'm taking this one, but I'm not taking anything away from the Omni mount. I have a bunch of these and I love them, but this is a better design if you ask me. That being said, I don't have a ton of time behind it. Maybe I will run into something that changes my mind with this mount, but so far I'm pretty stoked on it. To replace it, all you do, the reverse, pop it in, hit the button, and you got it locked. The only issue that I have seen with this is when it is in the downward position, you do have a little bit of clearance issue on the charging handle. Now that being said, I can easily do it. It's just a little bit of a knuckle. If it's up, no problem. Plenty of clearance, but when it's down, a little knuckle. But that is the only potential issue that I have seen and easily overcome with reps and training. It is a super cool mount with the horrible name. Like I said, it's the RDF 2022 5K. This is a build I did and just ordered the receiver set from SLR Rifle Works, and it did come in this black multicam, which I like, along with this hand stop is also SLR in the same black multicam Cerakote. This is Sons of Liberty Gunworks new M89 rail. The finish on it is a little shinier than I like. I like a duller finish on it, but that's only aesthetics. And it has these 3 cross bolts that snug this thing down, and it is a rigid handguard. Definitely like it. And then I am running a Silencer Co. 556 Saker on here, although this, I did put a Q Cherry Bomb muzzle device on this barrel, so I did get this Q hub for the Saker, which makes it compatible with the Cherry Bomb. And behind that, I'm running a mod light. This is the PLH V2 18350, and I'm activating that with the Surefire SR07 pressure pad with the constant on and intermittent buttons. And then the light is attached to the M-LOK with this Arisaka offset scout mount, and of course another Emissary Development cable clip. For the cable management, I haven't found anything better in those. And then moving back, I do have the Q 2-piece bolt carrier in here. Can't see it that good. You can see that there's a little gold back there. And I am running a Magpul bad lever on here. I've had them on so many guns that I just run them on anything that I can. It makes locking that bolt back so easy and dropping the bolt so fast. Especially for mag changes. When your bolt locks to the rear, you can be grabbing that new mag. As soon as that thing's in, you drop your finger right by the trigger and you're back on it. I'm a big proponent of the Magpul bad lever. Radian Raptor charging handle, and then this is a pistol. So I've got a SB Tactical SBA3 pistol brace on here. And lastly, I am running this dye-free company Kung Fu grip. I really like this big undercut that it has, although I'm used to the angle of the B5 grips. This one is a little more vertical than the B5, and I'm getting used to it. Jury's still out, but this is the Spur aim point and magnifier mount, the RDF 2022 5K. That is on the SLR B15 build kit. So next, we're gonna go to another mount that I really liked. This was the first mount that I got that was a game changer as far as lasers go. But that is gonna be the GBRS Group Hydra mount. These are the 2.91 inch optic height. So these are, I believe, the tallest mounts that I'm familiar with. Essentially what this does is it takes your laser from the front of your gun and moves it back towards the midpoint of the gun. I got a light, a switch, a can, and then not only just fitting a laser on here, but just the weight of it. It's much more balanced back in the center. It allows you to keep your head in that upright position. That situational awareness keeps you up, as well as if you're wearing plates, keep them squared to the target instead of bending down and potentially taking a round in the throat. Not that you couldn't, but it's less likely. This one is made for the EOTech, so it's basically just a Picatinny rail right here and another pick rail up here for the laser. This one I do have set up with, this is a civilian power laser, unfortunately. This is an ATPL, not a PEC 15. You know, the only issue that I have really run into with the Hydra and moving it back here, besides the potential of possibly getting hung up on gear, getting your laser caught on kit and stuff like that, which I have not had happen to me, but the potential may be greater in that configuration than if you had a laser on the pick rail up front. Hasn't happened, but I will acknowledge the potential. The other issue is it's not as big a deal on these guns. This is a Knights Armament 11.5 SR30, so 300 blackout, and it's not as big a deal on the shorter barreled guns. But when you get to the longer guns and you have your laser mounted out front, they don't make long enough cables, go all the way back, and then even this, you can see the cable swoops up a little bit. These Hydra mounts, I really do like them. I have them on several guns, and they are definitely preferable for me. To each their own, but I like these. And that being said, those guys that have way more time under nods with lasers than I do, who have been running lasers out here that for much longer than I have, I understand that they would probably be preferable to things remaining the same and not be a big fan of the Hydra mount. I'm sure those guys are out there, and kudos. I'm not trying to change your mind, just trying to show you options. But this is how I like it, and let's go through the gun that it's on. Like I said, this is a Knights Armament SR30. I have, we'll start at the tip. This one is a QDC CRS can from Knights Armament. It's kind of a classic. I dig this can, that corn cob. This is a Modlite OKW 18350. I forget the name, the exact name of this switch from Surefire, but it's their dual switch. So it is the crane connection for the laser, and then the Surefire Scout connection for the light. Then moving back, I have this True North hand stop, which is okay. This is a pistol, so I would prefer a vertical grip, but it's a pistol, so I can't. And then I have, you can't see it under the Co-band that well, but there is another little Emissary Development cable clip, and this is one of their round ones. And then I do have a bad lever on here, even though this is a somewhat ambi gun, but just mag release. I still use this for bolt release and bolt lock to the rear. And then this is SB Tactical's newest pistol brace. I think this is the SBA5, if I'm not mistaken. New design from them. I like it. And this is the GBRS group Hydra mount on the Knights Armament SR30. Okay, the next gun has some familiar components, I'm sure. We talked about one earlier. This is a two-piece, so this is also the mount up here is a GBRS group Lerna mount, and that is set up obviously for an EOTech. And then this is the Unity flip to center Omni mount, and this is also a 2.91 inch optic height. These are mounted on, this is another build that I did. So it is a Sons of Liberty collaboration with Forward Controls lower. And then I do have a Type A upper receiver. And then this is an 11 11.5-inch barrel under a Geisley rail. And I'm running the Trash Panda on this because I have a Reardon muzzle device on here. I have the Unity Tactical Axon light switch, and I'm running the Modlite PLH V2 18350. It is also a pistol and SBA 3 pistol brace. But you can see, compared to that spur mount, this one has far more clearance on the charging handle, but just more, so you can pop this thing right off, no problem. It's just the lever and the overall bulk of the thing where I think the spur has an edge on it. This, I'm running an EOTech XPS3, and they make this Lerna mount for EOTech, Aimpoint, and it seems like they make it for one other optic. I can't remember off the top of my head. But I'm a huge fan of GBRS group. They make some awesome stuff, if you ask me. And I like this setup a lot. I'm definitely not knocking this Unity mount whatsoever. I think it is a fantastic mount. That spur is just innovative. This is the GBRS group Lerna with the Unity, and this is a GBRS group collaboration with them to be the Omni. Just gets that 2.91, and this is a great setup. I like it a lot. And the next one, this is one of my favorite manufacturers, and that is going to be Type A rifles. These guys, I love the guns these guys make. This one is an 11.5-inch contractor from Type A, which means it is a piston gun. All the other guns I've shown you are direct impingement. This one, I've got the GBRS group Hydra mount, except this one is for an aim point. So I've got a comp M5 on here, and I'm running a Wilcox Raid XE laser on this. This is a full power, which is awesome. And then we already went through the mount itself. I'm just showing you this as an alternative to the EOTech, that they make them for EOTech and for Aimpoint. Both are awesome. This I really dig. This is also obviously a 2.91-inch height, and we can go through the gun. On this Type A contractor, at the tip, we have a Huxworks Flow 556K, a Modlite OKW 18350, and I can't remember the name of two of these things. Either this is a cloud defense bracket for this Surefire switch. It's just a little tape switch in there. I can't remember the name of this one, and I can't remember the exact name of this cloud defense. It's like the LCS for Surefire, I think. But either way, I do like that little configuration too. And then I'm really digging these ScalarWorks Peak iron sights, foldable, super cool. And I am running an Emissary Development handbrake right here, this hand stop, along with the Emissary Development cable clip. Of course, this is a Type A Rifle Works bolt carrier group. And this same issue, I have the switch for the Raid XE over here. I need to get a longer cable that will work so I can run it up to a dual switch. Just haven't been able to find those yet. Magpul bad lever, of course. This one does have the Law Tactical folder on it, so you get, this thing is a great little truck gun. Get super short, take this can off, get very short. Haley Strategic Thorntail QD mount in there, if you can see that. It is a pistol, so SB Tactical SBA3 pistol brace on here with the flatline fiber wrap on there. And this is a Type A Rifle Works charging handle with a B5 pistol grip. This is one of my favorites. Badass. Love this gun. Okay, on this last one, we're going to be looking at another newish Optic mount. This one, we're just looking at the Optic. I did put this portion of it on the gun, but I intend to remove it because I've decided that I'm not going to be running a magnifier on this. This is a night vision gun, and it's going to stay that way, just dedicated for that. This is a Daniel Defense SBR, and this is the Irregular Defense OMM Micro. So the mount itself is from here to here, and then you can buy these little, this is a medium board, and the one up front is a long board. And all those are pick rails that you can add on there. So I've got an Ingall up front, and like I said, I think I'm just gonna remove that medium board in the back because I don't intend to run a magnifier on this. I've just got this Aimo T2. This is a 2.3 inch optic height, which allows for that same head up posture. And we can go through the gun. Up front, I've got a Dead Air Sandman K that I'm running on a Dead Air Chemo flash hider. This is also a Modlite PLHV2 18350 with the Surefire SR07 pressure pad. This one does have the BCM forward vertical grip, the Emissary Development cable clip. On this side, the switch for the Ingall. This is the switch that comes with the laser. I don't love that I'm running that. I would much rather have one of those dual switches. The only issue is the Ingall has a proprietary connector, and they're not cheap, so it makes it difficult. But I have seen that GBRS Group and Unity have joined forces to make some longer cables, and those that are compatible with the Ingall. I just haven't seen them available yet. T2, bad lever, Radian Raptor charging handle, and everything else is Daniel Defense. Other than that, this is just an absolutely fantastic little gun. I enjoy it thoroughly. Okay, so that's gonna be the video for today. That is just going through a couple of different options for mounts and for optics, whether you're running aim points or EOTechs or anything in between. There's a mount out there for you, and it's just, what are you doing? What is your purpose is how you're gonna set it up. Do you want a magnifier on there? Do you not? There's a lot of options out there, but I showed you those mounts just because they're not the run-of-the-mill everyday mount. They're a little out of the ordinary. Some people are very familiar with them all, but I thought for the most part, these are some uncommon mounts, particularly that new spur mount. I think that thing is very slick. And once again, I very much appreciate you watching these videos. Thank you. Please comment, like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. And this is Jeff for the Weapon Collective, reminding you to keep your weapons collected and keep collecting your weapons. I'll catch you next time.